And today I've been joined by Zach Oehlman here with your business coach and wealth coach, Matt Catchram. So we are in for an interesting conversation right now. And Zach, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mac.
Hey, listen, Zach, based on your expertise, why should people stay and listen throughout the whole of this conversation here?
I would say because I've lived the life. I've made money, I've lost money, I've had success, I've had failures, but I've learned how to first off create a life in my imagination and then bring it to the world. So we've lived in 24 plus countries, running $4 million businesses and having a beautiful time doing it.
Excellent. So if you want to be creating a lifestyle based on your terms, based on how you want it to be, stay tuned. If you're interested in anything to do with business, entrepreneurship, mergers, acquisition, real estate, or just in general creating wealth, financial freedom, and having a great life. That's the essence of this conversation. So, Zach, often I start these conversations by asking, really, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial background. What got you to you doing what you are doing now, and what preceded what you are doing now? How did you become an entrepreneur? What happened?
I grew up as a farmer in Indiana, and so I think by definition, a farmer is an entrepreneur if you really look at it. And my dad died when I was 12. I took over the family farm, had really no interest in going to school, anything other than that. But I had a reality check when I was 18. I said I wanted to travel the world, help people make money,
Mm.
and living on a small farm in Northwest Indiana that really didn't fulfill on that. And so I picked up a book by Peter Lynch, world-renowned investor, a mutual fund guy here in the United States, and he started talking about this idea that you could make money, and I was like, wow. And so I just really got excited about that, and I realized I have to do something with my life. So I went to school for a degree in finance, and then we started talking about buying businesses and selling businesses, and again, this concept of making money. And it became so fascinating, the world of economics and everything like that. And I just kept progressing and progressing, went into corporate America. I thought that was sort of going to be it. And then I landed one of the best jobs in the world, working for one of the best companies in the world, had all the money, all the things that, we think we need and want. And I was miserable. And I was like, I want to travel, I want to help people, I want to make money. And so I took the plunge and quit that job and started a real estate investing career and bought my first business, sold that business, and sort of just understanding the mechanics of money, understanding the mechanics of finance, operations, sales, and marketing, and how they all go together, and leadership and personal development. And, over a 20-year span, I ended up here.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Over a 20-year span, you're still in it. You're still and you are right now still on the road traveling. You're in Colombia right now. So
Yes, people ask me where do I live? I'm like the world.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
so
that
yeah.
that is it. You have a phrase, learn and grow rich.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
I was it came to me piece by piece, but I was in Brazil in the rainforest, and I said I went on a survival trip. So me and two local tribesmen went into the heart of the Amazon on a boat and just like figured it out for 2 days, and it was so fun. And I said, "Where's this rainforest problem?" Right? We all hear about, and they go, "Oh, it's on the other side of the country here. They're cutting down the trees to graze cattle to meet the beef supply demand of the world." And I had this conversation with myself. I was like, "Okay, how much would it cost to have the people, simple economics? What's the price of paying the people not to cut down the trees, paying the people not to eat the beef?"
Mm,
And I just, this fun little conversation. Then I started having the conversation of, well, what would it take to end human suffering? What would it take to feed the hungry, to house the homeless, to clean drinking water, to, just the necessities of life for the vast majority of the world? I said, how big of a check would it take to do that? And obviously it's a pretty big one. And so I called that the project, and I was like, well, how are we going to fund the project? And again, a conversation with myself, and it's like the program, right? I've been in programs my whole life. I'm like, okay, we're the program. Well, what's the program? The program is I'm going to teach people how to make money so that they can use a portion of that to make a difference in the world. And so that's how Learn and Grow Rich sort of came to fruition because I want to make a difference in the world. And instead of me and my wife writing a check, what if I had a million people writing checks, right? Into something that they're passionate about, either animals or people or veterans or, just whatever really gets them going. And I've also just learned over the years is everything is learned. Everything from how to make money to, language to uh, really everything. And so I just, that it came to me. And what's really cool about it is, in that creation, I said, I'm going to work with Think and Grow Rich one day
Yeah.
and the world famous people. And I'm actually working with the vice president, the former vice president of Think and Grow Rich
Oh, you
inside of
are?
this. Yeah.
Wow.
And so just
Congratulations.
put it all together and teaching the people.
Fantastic. And so when you say teaching people, in essence, what is it you're really teaching them? Are you teaching them on entrepreneurship? Are you teaching them wealth creation? Are you teaching them real estate? What are you teaching them? And what is I know the outcome is for them to be able to write a check to make a difference, have a great lifestyle, help other people. But what essentially are you teaching?
Ultimately, at the end of the day, we're teaching people how to create a plan and a budget, right? And so I've learned this so many different ways. And this is what we call it our vision to reality strategy session. Where are you? Where do you want to go? What's the plan and the budget to get there? And so I used to sell 20 plus $1,000 masterminds. And what I've learned is the vast majority of people I'm gonna want $10,000 or more time. That's sort of like the go-to thing. And they have no idea what that time is going to be spent on. And they have no idea what that money is going to be spent on. And so what I challenge people to do is to actually create a vision. And so what we do is help people create a life that lights them up. For me, travel the world, help people making money. I put it on the paper, I figured it out, and I put a budget to it. And so what we do is we help people create a vision for their life, a purpose, a why. I mean, it goes by many different words. But then
Right.
what we do is, so we have a starting point and then we have an ending point. And what we do is we take an assessment of where they're at today. What's their fastest way to financial freedom? And we use Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. For some of them, it's
Nice.
keeping their job, believe it
Yeah.
or not. For others of them, it's doing the self-employed. For others of them, it's business. For others of it's investors. And so what we do is we ask them, okay, what cash flow quadrant are you in? And what cash flow quadrant do you need to be in to fulfill on that big vision? And then we help them create a plan to get there.
That is awesome. The cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great tool. I remember when I was broken, I was
Absolutely.
struggling, I was trying to figure it out, and someone handed me Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I thought, great book. It changed
Beautiful book.
my thoughts from, okay, I'm running this business, I'm burning myself out. And what Robert Kiyosaki is saying is you can create a lifestyle with real estate or otherwise that gives you financial freedom. So it's fantastic that you mention it here. And later on in years, I've now had the opportunity to travel around the world with him, over 14 different tours around with Robert Kiyosaki, whether
Oh,
it's
really?
oh yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you'll see it on my Instagram as it were. So I do believe wholeheartedly in his teachings because it does make a difference.
Yeah.
It made my difference. It made a difference to me in terms of being broke and then financially very, very successful now. So what stops people, Zach, would you say, in terms of creating the life that they really, really desire? Because they may have a thought, but not take the action. And every evening come back home from work or their business and just watch Netflix for 2 hours or whatever. But
Right.
what's people creating a life that they really want?
So I've asked that question over and over and over again to myself and then to the people that join our community. So I've started a real estate investing community. We've had over 1,000 people. I've been on a board of a education company that had over 30,000 people in it. And it's like, okay, I bought the same education.
Mm,
I have access to all the same stuff, right? The internet really of the world. And it's like, how come I'm here and they're not?
right.
And I boiled it down to fear. That's the only thing. And so if you've ever the terror barrier, have you ever heard of that? Terror barrier. The guy, well, Bob Proctor made it famous, but there's somebody else that really originated. And so the idea is we know what we need to do. We're just afraid to do it. And so we back off. And the
Mm.
only way through that fear, I'm sorry, the only way to get past that is to go through the fear. And so
Yeah.
for me, I was a socially awkward financial consultant. I was afraid of the world. I joined a $20,000 mastermind and I really didn't talk to anyone for 3 years because
Wow.
I didn't know how to talk to rich people. I didn't know how to be in that environment. I was a farm kid. So I just shut up and listened. And then I started taking personal development programs, and personal to work on my emotional intelligence. And
Yeah.
so that's I work on that so much. I have coaching calls I meet with twice a week. I'm always in a book, always in a program. And so I would say the thing that holds them back is fear. And so how do you get through the fear? Well, you focus on your emotional intelligence.
Mm. Fantastic. Great, great answer. To what extent would you say your personal development education, professional development education helped you to create the life you have now and the results that you have now? And why is that important for people?
I would say I contribute all of my success to that personal and I'm going to call it the emotional intelligence side. Is that sort of the question?
Sure. Sure.
Right. And so I read a quote that said 85% of your success is based on your emotional intelligence. Uh,
Mm.
Intellectual intelligence, which I was very great at in the world of finance, they said gets you in the door. Right. And
Right.
obviously you need it. And you can't, there's a lot of people that are very emotionally intelligent, but they don't have the practical skill set either. And so
Right.
it's that balance of learning 2 + 2 = 4, learning what a comp is, learning what finance is, learning the mechanics of money, but then also having the emotional intelligence component of it to go talk to other people.
Mm.
Because the only way to make money is by transferring value from and to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so you have to have other people involved in it.
Yeah, yeah. All our money comes from other people, like you suggested,
Right.
all from other people. And so if you can't get comfortable with just having a conversation with people, creating wealth or thriving in business will be a very big obstacle, a big
It's
challenge. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I was one of those people that wanted to make lots of money, but I was afraid of people. And so it was like I had to work on it.
Isn't that fascinating? Who have you become through that process of growing yourself from this, uh, whether it's shy, retiring, don't want to speak to people, to now you're on this podcast, you're speaking to me, we're going out to thousands of people. It's like, oh, you're doing it here. So who have you become on that journey?
um I became the person I had in my mind, like who I wanted to become,
Uh,
right? And well, who is that, right? And so someone that isn't afraid of people. I've now traveled 24 countries. I've lived in 24 countries. I realized the only thing that differentiates us from each other is our education. I've seen the
mm,
poorest of the poor and I've seen the richest of the rich. And the only thing that's different is their education. And so that's why it's so important for me. I actually give all of our education away for free now instead of selling it. I give our education away. And so I give our masterminds away. We have an entry level mastermind we give away, so that people, regardless of where their income is at, they get the same book and the same instructor as the people that are paying me $5,000, $10,000 a month to do it for them. Because I think, if I say I'm out here to make a difference, and how I'm going to make a difference is the education. And so with that comes courage, confidence in myself. This world of entrepreneurism, we're walking forward in a black room every day, right?
mm,
And it's like I have the confidence to take that next step, and know I'll figure it out no matter wherever I land. And so I think that really, asked me who have I become? Somebody that's confident in myself and confident in the process. I see the world of business and money making actions as a framework. You could drop me anywhere in the world, and I understand the framework of value exchange. And so I'm almost fearless in
right.
that aspect, and so that gives me a peace of mind to move forward.
And not worry about money. Fantastic. Good
Right.
job. Yeah, that's a great place to be. Now, for those people thinking of starting a business, maybe they're working in corporate, they're working in a company somewhere, maybe they not satisfied, they are unfulfilled. What's the best way, or how can these people, what do they need to do to start a business, would you say?
My initial um response to that would be, are you really sure you want to start a business? Right? Because as you and I both know, I think Dave Ramsey said it. He goes, starting a business is like sucking the bone marrow out of you. It's like, it's tough. Oh my God. And I'm so grateful I did it. There's nothing like
Mhm.
I live a beautiful life today because I have a business. And
Yeah.
so I would say, first off, ask yourself, why do you think you want to start a business? Because a lot of the, I'll call them the um, influencers out there, they represent it in a way that's not truthful, right?
Mm.
In a way that, they talk about all the beautiful things, but they don't talk about the reality of it.
Oh yeah.
And so the first thing I would say is start have a plan. Like, what is it that this idea of a business, uh, what's the romance? Like, let's take the romance out of it and actually talk about the reality of it. And what I recommend for people, depending on where they're at, is understand which cash flow quadrant are you in, and which one are you do you need to be in? Because I know people that make a $500,000 in their W-2 world, and they're getting crushed in taxes, but then we show
Mm.
them some tax strategies using real estate, using oil and gas, and uh, just some other things that helps them mitigate their taxes in the W-2 world.
Mhm.
So, and also build that balance sheet wealth. And so the plan is everything. And so if you actually want to go into business, if the plan says the next step is go into business, what I would look at is finding someone else's stuff to sell. That because one of the challenges I see with a lot of people is they think they have to, you got to be the marketing, the sales department, the
Mhm.
operation, and the finance. And it's just like you will go crazy. And
Yeah.
so what I started is I started selling someone else's stuff through direct sales. And
Okay.
so I learned the craft of marketing. I learned the craft of sales. And then once I became the uh, number two salesperson in a 30,000 person organization. And then I had to learn the operations of all of these people that I sold. Like, how do I keep them happy and how do I fulfill on
Right.
that promise? But thankfully, I didn't have to do it all because I was sort of sitting on the coattails of the company I was selling for. And then I got to learn the mechanics of money, the mechanics of business. And then I went out on my own. And today we have our own businesses. And ultimately, what I do is I'm still selling other people's stuff, right?
Mm.
What I do is I find businesses that I love, and then
Yeah.
I wrap my business model around it: finance, operations, sales, and marketing. And then I help them sell more of it for an equity position.
Okay. Okay. On the flip side there, thanks for that, Zach. On the flip side of that, because we've got different types of listeners, what's your strategy or tips on how to grow and scale a business then, the most an effective way that has worked for you?
Um, so I would say you have to have your finances in order.
Mm.
Like, most people I talk with do not have their finances. They don't have their books up to date. They don't understand finance. Um, and I think that's like the ultimate dashboard, right? When we talk about feedback loops, it's the
Yeah.
ultimate. If you know how to read a P&L, a profit and loss income statement, or in a balance sheet,
Hmm.
it tells you everything you need to know and everything you need to do to move that business forward. And so I would say, first off, get your finances in order. And then second off, keep lots of cash. Cash is the cushion that will make an easy fall when you mess up, because you're going to mess up.
Hmm.
Uh, be careful on leverage. I know in the world of real estate, we talk about a lot of leverage
Yeah.
and, buying real estate with no money, no credit, no problem type thing. I do it all the time, but I also have experience, wisdom, and cash to
Mhm.
do that. And so I would say what I recommend people is get 6 to 12 months worth of cash reserves, just for those rainy days that will come.
Mhm.
And then focus on the skill set of sales and marketing, right? That
Right.
is I've learned that is the most valuable skill set in this whole formula called business. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you understand finance and you understand sales and marketing, there, if your product sucks, go find someone else that has a great product or service that sucks at sales and marketing and be their sales and marketer and ask for equity in that. And just understand the so I'm getting a little carried away. SOPs,
Uh-huh.
documenting everything. So everything I have in my business is documented. So if I actually can't make it to work one day for something, everyone knows what to do, right?
Right.
And so that's another thing I see people really fall short on
Mm.
is they are the business and then they hire people that don't document things and they end up paying more for that person because now that person has to know as opposed to following instructions. And so what we try to do is bring it to a level where people are literally just following instructions every day in our business, which creates lower payroll. We use
Right.
almost everyone we use is around globally. So we're not hiring people directly from the United States. That's a
Okay.
competitive advantage of ours. So that way, I've created really high end financial support, CFO level support, tax planning support that I can do with I've created systems, processes, and structures to be able to do that at a very low cost, which keeps me super competitive and keeps the margins really wide.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm glad you touched on all these things. I was about to lead into you travel around the world. You're running multiple businesses, and you've just given us an inkling of some of the things you put in place to allow you to have that kind of freedom. So, is there anything you haven't said already in terms of being able to be positioned anywhere in the world, run multiple businesses, have the lifestyle you want? How has that come about outside of SOPs, putting systems and processes in place, having virtual teams around the world doing the right thing, having the right mindset, first of all, that, hey, I want to be free to do what I want. Is there anything you haven't touched on? So I just wanted to press on that a bit more.
I would say you have to be known, right? Like if no one knows you, you're
Mm.
some guy like with a team of people from around the world, like sort of sounds like a scam, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be known and you have to create a brand and a reputation. And I've spent a lot of money keeping my word. I'll put it that way. I spent a lot of money keeping my word and my promises to people when I could have just left. And
Mm.
and I knew if I would have done that, I was part of a very large that direct sales company, and I left. And there was a lot of people that bought because of me. And I said, you know
Right.
what? They bought because of me. I may be leaving the company, but I'm not going to leave them support wise. So I've been gone from them for over a year. I still
Yeah.
support. I when I started, I said I'm going to have a daily call. I still have that daily call. They spent 20 grand on me, right? Really. Because the program was 20 grand, but I was the guy at the front of the room selling it, promoting it. And I said, okay, how can I keep my integrity? How can I keep my word? So what I did is I kept the call going. And
Right.
now my new offer just leads into that call, right? And so I found a way to keep my word, keep my promise, and sort of parlay it into what I'm doing next. And so
Trust is so, so important, I believe.
yeah,
Um, Building relationships, your word is your bond. For me, it's
yeah,
so, so critical. And I remember many years ago, I had two business partners in my first business, was an IT company. And I didn't realize till later on our values were so different. And by the time I realized they had siphoned a lot of money from the business, then they disappeared, couldn't get hold of them. Now I'm in a hole, over 100 grand in debt, struggling, trying to figure it out. I've got to pay the staff, I've got to keep the operations running. And so I totally wholeheartedly agree about the trust because it's
it's
integral, you know?
it's everything. There's you put it trust, right? There's actually a whole study on this. It's called the economics of trust. There's some books on it. The Speed of Trust is a brilliant book,
Yeah.
and it's like if And right now, I would say the world doesn't trust each other,
Mm,
right? Specifically in the coaching and consulting world.
yeah.
Uh, and so I'm the one of the reasons I give all my stuff away now is to build trust, right? One literally, I give. We have a $10,000 software, give it away. Give my coaching masterminds away. We give two of them away. I'll answer any questions you have on anything. Our education, we give it away, and you nailed it. It's all to build trust.
You know, there was a time, actually, it was during COVID. The reason why, in fact, people ask me, when did you start this podcast? I was on the road twice a month, teaching, speaking in some part of the world for 10, 15 years. And then COVID happened and I couldn't travel anymore. I'm thinking, wow, but I love teaching. I love speaking. I love helping people. And the natural instinct was, how am I going to do that? So I started running webinars, inviting people for free. Say, hey, you got a problem with your business? What are you going through personally right now? And I know you're locked in and all the rest of it. And so that's what turned into the podcast in terms of just giving away free information, helping people to get back on their feet or not to go downhill in terms of their mental health. So I think we are on the same page here. Listen, great stuff so far, Zach. Zach, the I want to ask you that what is it what is it you love about what you do now compared to maybe many years ago when things were probably different? What do you love about what you do?
Um, it's a great question. I love the challenge. It's a big math problem. Business, I see finance. I see the world through finance. I mean, there's a financial exchange going on right here between you
Mm,
and I, right?
mm,
Even though it's not money,
right,
it's I see currency as time, money, knowledge, relationship, experience. Like there's just world of finance that I see the world, and I love sharing that because, like I said earlier, I'm fearless when it comes to I'll be okay. I'm
right,
gonna be okay. And the only reason I feel that is because I feel I understand the world of finance. And when I say finance, I'm not just talking, I'm talking about the whole world of it, the sales, the marketing, the operations component of it, the humanity component of it. And that peace of mind that I have today, I want everybody to have it. And so it's like, oh, you're going to be okay, right? You have that superpower in you called value, and you know how to exchange it with someone else that needs your value and you need theirs. And so we may not be exchanging dollar for dollar,
mm,
but you have a horse and I have some milk.
mm,
Let's like that's where it all started. And it's
artery. Yeah.
like once you understand that, it just opens it for me, it just opened up the world. And I love seeing other people get it. And I
Love,
love breaking it down. I love the complexity of making it simple, right? For people to get
fantastic,
it. Yeah.
fantastic. I'm going to come back to you in a second to tell us how people can connect with you and learn from you,
Yeah.
etc. You're listening to the Business and Wealth Show with Mac Attram here, your business and wealth coach, and I'm joined by Zach Oehlman. We're having an amazing conversation here. And remember, the algorithm loves engagement. So remember to like, share, make some comments. What are you getting from this? And send some emojis or something. Say something, and so we know that you are there and you're getting something out of this. So. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Zach, those who want to connect with you or learn more from you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so the best way is to get to our free school community at learnandgrowrich.net. You'll get welcomed by my team. We have a free, everything in there is absolutely free. All my master classes, we have free masterminds in there, our free software, our free test for Genius in 21 days. And then obviously, if you want to work with us at a higher level, get on a strategy call. We have entry level masterminds starting at $97 all the way up to done for you where you work with me and I actually do it for you in your business.
Fantastic. Many years ago, thanks for sharing that. And you are, as you were speaking, I'm thinking, this is giver's gain. Many years ago, I interviewed Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, Business Network International.
Yeah.
And his whole philosophy is givers gain. So give and you shall receive, as the Bible says. So Zach, thank you so much for jumping onto this show and given us so much value and golden nuggets in terms of how to think, how to behave, how to do business, how to treat people. Fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Mac.
You are most welcome. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining in. Until next time, remember to build your business not just for income, but for wealth as well. Until we speak again, bye for now.